Welcome to a new episode of Leveraging Real Estate for Freedom. Today, we are going to talk about how this tenant was able to stay in the property rent-free for about 3 years. Initially, when this tenant was placed, I was promised that this is a good tenant. Once the tenant was placed, I noticed first, second month right away, she wasn't paying rent. And I asked the old property manager what is happening. The explanation I received from what I recall, again, this is 3 years ago, was that, this person fell on hardship or whatever it is, and she's going to make up the payment, she's gonna make payment plans, but she's gonna catch up eventually. So of course, she missed a month of payment and I get a story. She missed another month payment, I get another story. And the stories are from the property manager. And keep in mind, the property manager is dealing with the tenant. I don't know exactly what's transpiring between those two, but I'm the one dealing with the property manager and not directly with the renter. After a few months, I'm like, this is a problem. Let's go ahead and file for eviction. Backtracking on time. So I believe this happened close to late 2019. And long story short, I think we either started the process or engaged the attorney to start the process. Nothing really happened because it takes a long time to actually evict somebody. I think you need to provide proper notice, 30-day notice, 60 notice. There's just a bunch of timelines that you need to hit in order to evict somebody. And then after the initial 30, 60-day notice, you file for the eviction. Now you have to wait for the courts for another 3 to 6 months, something like that. And at that time, I believe COVID hit. And when COVID hit, suddenly, nobody's paying rent, and then there was eviction moratorium, and then that dragged this on for another year and a half. And after the year and a half, 2 years, she was still getting government assistance, and government assistance covered majority of her rent. And we essentially just took the government assistance and let her stay in a unit because that's what we're supposed to do. And after the fact, government assistance ran out and she began to accrue balance again. And finally, we were able to use the balance that she owed us ultimately to evict her, all right? And this is very troublesome because during COVID, a lot of renters are protected. Government system was protecting renters, even the ones that were kind of scamming the system. Now for her, she was just kind of getting as much handout as possible. And then at the end, how do you not pay rent for 2 years and still not have money to pay rent, right? She just didn't want to pay rent. Simple as that. She was using every excuse not to pay rent, or else she would have made rent. And at the end, we used the money that she owed us to evict her, and we got the unit back. But as you guys can see, it is not in the best condition. What is the moral of the story here? Well, I messed up in the sense that I gave too much control to the old property manager, which we fired and which we are now suing. So I gave too much control to this guy, and I was pretty much hands off the entire time. And I trusted him because he did a lot of good work initially. When we first started working together, his work was phenomenal. Over time, as he got more and more work and more units under management, I feel that his quality took a nosedive. And even though I was somewhat aware of it, I just kind of didn't want to deal with it because I assumed and I was hoping that he would recover with the quality of his work. And I shouldn't have done that, right? I should be more involved and be on top of managing these managers so that we don't have this type of issue. And the biggest thing here, looking back with hindsight, the one thing that could have mitigated this entire issue is if I was there and approving all of these tenants one by one. And I think moving forward, right now we have in-house team property managers. These guys are very trustworthy. They work very hard. And I trust them a lot, just like I trust the old property manager. But now I feel like for every tenant that's going to be placed that are outside of Section 8, I will be more wary and more dialed in kind of sorting these tenants, because it's very important to place good tenants inside your property to ensure payment. Nobody ever knows whether or not these tenants are going to pay on time, but what you can do is you can pre-qualify people and to make sure that you place the best tenant to your knowledge as possible. And I think that's one big takeaway for me, and hopefully for you guys as well. Do not let these videos scare you, all right? We purposely share with you guys these trouble tenant stories, share with you guys, the pitfalls that we go through so that you guys can learn from our mistakes and don't go through the same issue. And, trust me, for every bad story we share, there's 20 good stories that we don't share, because good stories, tenant paying on rent, that's not really news, that's not really entertainment. And what do we really say about that? XYZ tenant paid rent on time. Of course, most of our tenants pay on time, but once in a while, a very selective few who are just do not pay rent cause us a lot of issues. And those are the ones that we want to show you guys to share with the world. To, of course, also give you guys a realistic expectation of what is really out there, right? And this stuff can happen to you. It happened to me. I'm sure it can happen to you. And don't think that, investing in real estate is this like easy sailing, smooth type of transaction. From time to time, you will run into issues, but more importantly is if you learn how to deal with these issues and have the skills to deal with them, and I'm pretty sure you'll be on your way to be financially well off and to be able to create generational wealth for you. It's very rare that someone becomes successful without the ability to deal with issues. And the more skills you have, the more ability you have to address different problems, and that will determine the level of your success. All right, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you guys next time.